Teacher Allie here. I have a vlog for you guys this week, and I kind of circled back to it. You're gonna see in next week's vlog more of like, I guess, the struggles and like the things that I've been going through recently. But I did film last week for you guys for a vlog, and it just kind of became a chaotic mess. And again, I talk about it more in my next vlog, where I also discuss my new hair situation because I have changed it up a little bit. That's coming soon. But I really wanted to sit down and do an intro for this and just kind of almost like do a walk you guys through my vlog for this week, because it's a little all over the place, but I still feel like I tried to put as much effort as I could, at least, into some of the days. I don't know, I've been on this weird thing where like I vlog really strong Monday, Tuesday, then I fall off the wagon Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday I'm trying to decide, do I pick it back up? Do I delete everything? I've also been doing like this very minimal, almost like no makeup moment. So I just hadn't been filming a lot. I didn't really feel like putting on makeup a lot. And then I just like, I don't want another vlog where I just look like a rat all the way through the vlog. So yeah. Sidebar on that, I am filming a 3-look 1 palette with the Weirdos palette by Unearthly Cosmetics. And we had a very weird situation with this eye look today. Stay tuned, it should be on the channel soon, but let's just not mind the makeup today, you guys. So the beginning of this week, I was still not really feeling great, but I was like powering through, and I read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Bardugo? I'll get it eventually. I really like that book, and I do have my like book journal, like this is my writing book journal where I put in all my thoughts and everything on my books, because although I did film most of this week when it came to like what I was reading, I kind of left you guys hanging on like any type of reviews, so I thought I could kind of like show you guys a little bit of like the week and then come back and tell you guys what I thought of the book, as kind of like a little wrap up, if you will.
At a certain point, we all just sink into the ground and are never heard from again. Fuck, your hands are warm. I guess I just never noticed.
I keep wanting the change, but I keep one for myself. I'll keep wanting your picture, so I'll see you in hell. I just damaged my lip, but baby, you think you can help. I keep going a little, girl, you keep wishing me well. Would it kill you just to smile, at least once in a while?
Took me a minute to find it. This is like, I think my first fantasy of the year. Definitely dark fantasy, you guys. It is very, I don't even know how to explain this, because I almost want to say like Harry Potter vibes, but like think more adult and darker, if that's possible. I mean, I feel like Harry Potter does have like those really dark moments, especially in the last books, but like it is almost like that vibe, because with this setting you have like college setting, but there's different like houses, so that's kind of where I kind of get a little bit of the Harry Potter. There's also a lot of magic going on, and it's really showing like the darkness of societies and like prestigious like secret societies of, I guess, like, yeah, prestigious universities. This takes place in the University of Yale, and there's different houses. They do, I believe, different rituals, different types of magic, and they're almost in like tomb-like places, like sacred places. It's long story short, they're doing rituals to kind of like help the wealthy like stay wealthy. And a quick example that I really don't think is going to spoil too much for you is like a mention of like an author who had a bestseller and then kind of like fell off the radar. None of his stuff was good, and so he came and they did a ritual for him, and then after the ritual was complete, he was able to sit down and sat there and wrote or typed out his next novel, which was going to be a bestseller. And he literally had so much, like, the writer block was gone. He literally was able to fly through the entire book and literally wrote the entire thing in one setting. And yeah, it's kind of like that vibe. So it's like these rituals are helping the wealthy, stay relevant. It really, I don't know, it's like a really deep dive into like secret societies and, you know, different things like that. It does make you question a lot of things. Like it's kind of scary to think about, like, if certain things like this like do happen, not to this extent, but still I'm like, there has to be some messed up shit going down. This book, I can say, was a lot to digest. My God. It was rather thick. I wish I had it sitting next to me. Oh, I do behind me. It's rather thick. It was actually my book of the month. I got this one and Hellbent, which is the second book in the series that just came out in January. So I got the two of them. I really want to read Hellbent soon. But yeah, I buddy read this with a friend, and we were having a little bit of a hard time getting through some of it. It's just rather slow in some places, and I wish it would have been a little bit more fast paced. I also felt like all throughout it, like we kept mentioning, like there's so many mentions of certain things that you're just like, why? Like, I want this like dark magic ritual. Like, I want to focus in on like the paranormal aspect of it as well. And there's just not much I can say without giving too much away, because in the end, it all really does wrap up. And I love a book that like leaves nothing like untied. Like everything is tied up in the end, and I love that. There is a portion of the book honestly, a huge portion of this book. It kind of bounces from perspective to perspective on a couple characters, and we meet Darlington. His name is Daniel Arlington, I believe, and he goes by Darlington. I'm really confused by his character. In my notes, I literally put, "Where is Darlington?" about 550,000 times. And if you've read this, you know, but I want to know, where is Darlington at? Like, I think we're going to find out. And Hellbent for sure. But I did give it 5 out of 5. Was it slow in certain parts? Yes, but I love how it tied up. I loved the twist in the end. I loved how the book left me feeling like I cannot wait to pick up the next one still. And the writing, although at some points I found it like, oh my God, you know, like, and more so it was like to just get things to the point, like just get things to the point. But it's like the more you read it, you start to understand why it's written a certain way, and I really liked that. I get frustrated during, but it just makes it like so worth it once you get through it. You're just like, okay, now I get it. But I think you definitely have to like darker elements in books. I think you do have to like somewhat of fantasy. I'm usually not a big fantasy reader, but I enjoy this one because of the dark elements, and I really enjoyed the characters as well, so that was also a plus. Trigger warning for sure. If you are triggered easily, I would definitely look up those triggers before you jump into this book as well, because I will say some of that was a little triggering for me myself.
Just in the now, baby, I got a fever. I'm not feeling too well. I'm so under the weather. I'm so under your spell. I got one in the chamber. I got one for myself. I got one in your picture, so I'll see you without.
Do you think it's gonna be like this forever?
Guys, I wanted to pop on here. I honestly have not done much with my makeup or anything. I just did like my quick face, and it didn't even involve mascara today. I actually just got like a full-length mirror. It's been like 3 years since I've actually had a full-length mirror. But I have to get it. I still have to get it like hung up somewhere. I don't know where I want to put it yet. Outfit of the day, I'm wearing like a bodysuit. It's a long sleeves, you guys, so I've been dying. Missouri weather, oh my god. One day it's cold and then the next day it is miserable. Like, okay, it's not miserable, it's like nice, it's like in the 70s today, but like it's like a long sleeve bodysuit, and then I have like the sweater over it because I mean it's just kind of like, it's a cute moment, but I'm still like on the journey of like loving my body and loving myself. So yeah, a lot of the time I like my cardigans like over stuff like this. It's so cute, it's a vibe. But yeah, but we just got home. I went and picked up the boys. I read earlier for a little while, and then we went to the library because I had some books to pick up, and the boys wanted to go play for a little bit. Made it to chapter 13. I am 37% of the way in, so I don't know if I'm finishing this tonight. I have to go start dinner, so I'm gonna try to like read in between like dinner and stuff. I wish I had like the audiobook to kind of like help me. So I'm thinking about maybe like scanning some pages and trying to listen to some on the app. I am really invested in it. It's very, I mean, it's dark vibes for sure. It's very like vampire vibes, but they're not vampires. I'm still trying to like figure everything out. What I've know so far is that she is from the South, the main character, Marion, and she was not really offered, like she's seen like an ad to be blood maid, and since she's already a maid, she went ahead and did it. But you can tell like there's like this big conflict between the South and like the North. So like, you know, the North, I guess, are supposed to be like better than everybody else, like, you know, first class, and yeah. And then like the South is supposed to be more of like the poorer, and that is where Marion is from. So I think she's just, I don't know, I kind of wish there was a little bit more character development there. Like, obviously, like, she's not living in good conditions. She has, like, an abusive brother she's living with, and, like, her, like, only friend, she doesn't even, like, claim to be, like, a friend, because she's like, how can you have friends when you live this type of life? And like, she lives like in a rundown shack, and again, she's a maid for somebody who just mistreats her. So it's like, I get that she wants out of that, but at the same time, she makes it seem like this is just life and she's like comfortable with it, where I wish it was a little bit more like her really having to try to escape, instead of this just seeming like an opportunity that she's just kind of like, what the hell? You know, like, it's just kind of weird, because at first she seems like she's so against it, and then like she's just kind of like, what the hell, you know? But anyways, so she's taken north to be a blood maid, and she's been like, she's there now at the House of Hunger. There's several different houses, and this one's the House of Hunger. So is this like a book series? Like, is there going to be more, I wonder? It would be really cool. I'm excited to see where it goes. We're meeting the other blood maids. We're meeting like the actual like countess or whatever who drinks their blood. But again, like, it's made it very clear that they're not vampires, that she just has some type of like illness where she has to like feast on blood. I'm confused. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to just be just like full blown like fantasy moment. I also don't know like what time period we're in right now. Like, is this more supposed to be like dystopian, or is it like, I don't know. I know it's not like current day and age, because it's literally just like you have to work in a factory or you have to be a maid. I don't know. I just wish it was a little bit more like cleared up. Besides that, though, the writing is really pretty. I like it. It's very interesting. It's very entertaining. It keeps me like invested in it. Besides that, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes. I just want to know, like, what is happening. Like, what's everything that I'm missing right now, because I just feel like I have so many questions, but I am enjoying it. So I guess that says something. So Monday I started House of Hunger, and I've mentioned it in this vlog that I literally started like 7 different books and didn't wrap them up until the end of the week. Then it was more like crunch time, because it's like, what did you do? So I did start it Monday, but I didn't finish it till later on in the week. I did read this through Libby, I believe, on my Kindle. Yeah, I believe it was Libby that I got it from. But I really enjoyed this book. It was not what I was expecting. What can I say? I love gothic, honestly anything. Gothic romance, gothic thriller. I feel like it has all of those aspects to it. It has like this like vampire twist to it, but they're not really. They're blood maids. They're not vampires, but they're blood maids who like help like their like countess or count, whatever, their count or countess, stay like, I don't know, I almost want to say like young, vibrant. I swear I read this, but in this case, this countess had a certain type of blood disorder that caused her to have blood. And instead of like infusions and stuff like that, it's like, no, she's just going to literally drink it from a goblet. It was definitely different for me. But I did like the like gothic scenery. The way this author, Alexis Henderson, explains and like detail, I could like envision this place. And around that time, this was actually going to be a pick for Black History Month because it is a Black author. So I originally really wanted to read this for the horror-a-thon. We watched Invitation, and it was giving me like, the stories are completely different, but if you've seen that movie and you see the aesthetic of it, that like gothic, like almost medieval touch, that is the vibe I got with this book. That is what I envisioned while reading this book. So yeah, like the whole environment I was here for. So good. The characters kind of threw me a little bit. They were very strange. There's a lot of like, almost like feeling like brainwashing, manipulation, triggering things. I read a lot of dark books recently. I felt like it was a little drawn out to a point, and then the end was a little lackluster for me. It felt extremely rushed in a way, that I did kind of want more from it, but nonetheless, I still personally really loved it. It also reminded me of A Dowry of Blood. I liked the fact that there's also the LGBTQ plus aspects in it. That's always nice to see. But yeah, overall, I gave it a 4 out of 5. But I really enjoyed it. It was a nice read.
I went to substances, you went to college. I think it's too late to acknowledge our problems. Heard that you're great, I just wanted to say it ain't change. I still love you, tomorrow's not promised. Oh, by the way, fucking hate all the fame. Got you counting the days when your illness is chronic. Death really changes the way you behave. I'll remember your face when it smiles upon us. Reprobate, psych major, 666, so we like danger. Tough luck, life waster. If I get to know her, then I might.
It has been such a slow morning. It's now Tuesday, and honestly, I didn't read as much as I hoped I would last night. I went downhill. I was so tired. I literally threw asparagus and salmon in our air fryer for dinner. Like, I was like, any easy meal that I can possibly throw together for dinner. And then the boys, of course, had other stuff that we had to like throw together for them because they don't like salmon. But yeah, it was just a very casual, like, I was so tired. I went downhill fast. So I tried to go to bed early last night because I was just like, well, I'll just start fresh tomorrow. And today, I don't know what it is, you guys. I mean, you can probably tell, like, I'm so tired. It's 12 now. So I need to go get some lunch because my stomach's rumbling. But yeah, it's just kind of been like a casual morning. I'm on my laptop trying to get some stuff done. Just so tired. And then in between, I've been reading, but honestly, I'm reading so slow today. I'm still enjoying the book. The characters are really interesting. Um, we're learning more details about the different houses. There's like a sacred 4 houses. There's like more houses than that, but there's like 4 that are sacred and like, I guess like more elite, I guess, if you will. But yeah, I'm not that far. I literally just started chapter 18. So I'm a little over halfway through it. So I was kind of hoping to finish it last night or even like this morning, but that just did not happen. But I have been taking notes. I'm telling you guys, this journal has just been like a game changer for me. And taking notes for every single book that I read. And I've actually been really good at keeping up with it this year. I have every book that I have read this year and here like notes taken on them. So it's just so nice. And I know like the more book content I make, it's going to be so nice to come back and like reference books, different things like that by just looking at, you know, the notes that I took for them and stuff. So I did a little bit of that this morning because I had to finish up my notes for Ninth House, and then I started my notes for House of Hunger because I'm like, there's already so many names and people and, you know, different things like different houses and so much more going on in the story now that I'm like, I need to start documenting this because I'm going to start forgetting all these people and who they are and what they represent, blah, 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 blah. But today, I am also really wanting to start, which is also on my Kindle. I'm doing a lot of Kindle reading this week. But Finlay Donovan, finally starting the series. I've heard back and forth things about it. I feel like a lot of people kind of rate her books along the lines of Megan Miranda, which I get. They're just like that so like thriller. But I actually really like Megan Miranda's writing. I find it really easy to read and real, you know, enjoyable. I mean, with that being said, I feel like a lot of the time they're not like 5 stars for me, but they're usually still like 4. So I'm excited to start this series. I've heard amazing things. The only thing I'm bummed about is that the 3rd one literally just came out this year and people have been rating it super low. I'm like, oh no. So I do think it's a series that apparently goes downhill with the 3rd. So we'll see. But if you're coming here for book content, you probably already know who Kayla is from Books and Lala. But she does the Literally Dead book club, and her pick for February, I know it's March. I'm behind on my book clubs, you guys. But her pick for February was the 3rd book in the series. And so I knew I was going to be reading all of them. I just did not have the time in February. So March is now the time I'm going to try to tackle the Finlay Donovan series. So this week I would like to read at least the first one, maybe the second one too. We'll see. But, yeah, I'm hoping to continue House of Hunger and maybe finish it today, but at the same time, I'm kind of thinking about starting this one this afternoon just so that I can get kind of like my foot in the door with it. I kind of like to multi-read, so yeah, we'll see. I'm going to go grab something to eat though, because I have filming and stuff to do this evening, so... Oh, and last night, going through and cleaning out, like, the boys' backpacks, like I do every night, you know, or I usually do it in the evenings or first thing in the morning, like their papers from the previous day. I was cleaning it out last night, though, and Axel had a slip in his for, like, our skating rink, and for Roman's elementary, because they're in 2 different buildings, one's kindergarten and one's elementary, for St. Jude's, Roman's, you know, school, which you guys probably have seen maybe in a past vlog, maybe. But anyways, his school did a St. Jude's night where all the, you know, proceeds go to St. Jude's. So it's awesome, an amazing cause for a children's hospital. And so, you know, we took the boys that night. Well, now Axel's school is doing a, Jane or St. Jude's night at the skating rink tonight. I'm like, ugh. And it's like, we want to go because we want to support the cause and also because Axel's so excited. But it's literally like this year, we have found everything out literally like the day before. And it's literally so tiring. I feel like I, at this point, just have to live my life day by day. I can't plan ahead on anything because it's just like whatever you plan, it's like, oh, scratch that. Now I have this going on because we don't find out things till last minute. It's been kind of irritating at this point, but we're hoping to pop in for a little bit tonight. So I don't know how much reading I'll be able to get done this afternoon because of plans that happened last minute, but we'll see. Yeah, just kind of wanted to check in and let you guys know my reading plans.
The mouse. Okay, the mouse and the cat. The mouse and the cat. The mouse jumped into the sink.
Okay, so don't mind the lamp. I mean, I guess I could fix the... That's not any better. But I bought that lamp like months ago with the idea of redoing it. And I was going to be like hella spooky vibes and be like green or purple or, like just weird and, strange colors together to fit the vibe of hella spooky. And then I moved it to my horror shelf and I was like, well, maybe I will just redo it. The base red or black and then like do like maybe newspaper all over the lampshade and then like horror elements to kind of like tie into like my horror shelf, ghost faces down here. But I just haven't got to it because I'm so torn on where I want to end up putting it in the end. So yeah, anyways, can you guys tell I'm loving this like natural look right now, Okay, guys, I've made it to about 70% in the House of Hunger. I'm just going to be real with you guys. It has been a very erratic day for me. Like, my brain can't sit still. I think I've irritated even James tonight. He was kind of like, whoa, like, calm yourself. So I mentioned earlier it was the skating rink night, and so I got so overstimulated being there, and I haven't reeled myself in since. It's it's been a long day and I'm tired, but I'm hoping to get maybe a chapter or two in on the book before I go to bed. I never started the Finlay Donovan, so I think I'm going to do that first thing in the morning. And hopefully tomorrow I'm just like a little bit more calmer. I did continue taking notes today on House of Hunger. I'm still liking it. It's kind of shifting a little bit for me. I still really like the gothic horror that it is, but there is a lot of elements going on right now that I'm like, huh? What? Like, is this going to change my mind? Like, I honestly thought it was leading towards a 5-star for me because it's gothic horror. It has like these spooky elements to it. That's kind of like vampire elements, which I love. I love a good vampire read. But some of the other elements that are coming into play are kind of making me lean more towards 4 stars. And don't get me wrong, I'm very open-minded. I'm an open-minded person. No judgment from me. Like, as long as you're not like out hurting something or anyone, like I could care less how you live your life. I will support you, whatever the case may be. Like, you do you. So this whole aspect of having like a group relationship, whether there's a title to it or it's just people physically acting on it, but not really like, I don't know. It's very messy and strange to me because it's foreign to me, like it's not something that like accustomed to, I guess. And I kind of experienced this with, what is that book called? Is it Dowry of Blood? It kind of has like the same vibes as that there's aspects of it where it didn't make me mad it didn't affect my rating, that the fact that it was like a group open relationship. It was more the fact of how certain people were treated in that relationship that I was just like, this is messy. I don't like it. Like, it just makes me mad, and it hurts my heart for like those certain characters. And I'm kind of feel like I'm going through that again with this book. I'm like, girl, I don't think you're going to be happy in this situation. And it's just, it's messy. It's really messy. And I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be more horror coming into it. I mean, yeah, the blood drinking is pretty gothic horror, but I do kind of hope there's a little bit more, like, I mean, we've gotten the scratching on the wall. I mean, if you know, you know, like, that was a little weird, a little creepy, but I'm excited for more horror. Like, I really want some more horror from this book. So I am going to read some tonight, and hopefully start the first Finlay Donovan, and check back in with you guys in the morning and let you guys know how I'm liking it.
I
So,
stay while
stay
I
tuned.
move on. Lay these sleeves up, let the mask off. Make start tears on the asphalt. Damage in my C6, but you get that. So I know you'll understand where my blade at. You're afflicted, where the meds at. Damn girl, let's make big bets.
Hey guys, I don't know where I last left you guys. It is now Saturday. I just blame it on the week getting away from me, and my mental health hasn't really been great this week. So yeah, kind of all my plans have just kind of been thrown out the window. On top of that, I had this week planned out of like really wanting to like vlog with you guys and like read quite a few books throughout the week. I am doing that, but this week I've decided I'm a mood reader, and I am also a multi-reader because I can't seem to stick to one book. Like, I'm jumping around like crazy. I don't even know where I left off with you guys. I know the beginning of this week I finished Ninth House and really, really enjoyed that book. I also finished House of Hunger. Let me circle back to that because I might have already filled you guys in on how I felt about that book too. Also, Finlay Donovan is killing it. I have been reading that on my Kindle, you guys. I think like 70%. I've been reading a little bit each day, and yeah, 69%. I've been reading a little bit of it each day, and I'm loving it. It's so, so good. It's actually longer than I was expecting. I don't know. I sometimes feel like reading something on my Kindle is, I guess, seems longer than the actual book. I'm pulling it up on Goodreads now. Okay, it's only 355 pages, but for some reason on like Kindle, sometimes it just seems like so much longer. Maybe because the pages kind of seem a little bit shorter, so like you're turning a lot more pages. I don't know. But I'm really, really enjoying it. It's very, it's a page turner. It is such a good mystery. And my first book by Elle Cosmano, I'm not sure how you say her last name, but I am really, really excited to continue the series. So for Wednesday, I, again, like I said, fell off the wagon and didn't really film much, but I did start somewhere Tuesday or Wednesday. I started it on my Kindle, but then I was able to go pick up the physical from my library. Finlay Donovan is killing it. I've mentioned this, I feel like a broken record at this point, but Books and Lala, Kayla, her book club, Literally Dead book club, her pick for the month of February was, I can't think of what it's called, but it's the third book in the Finlay Donovan series. I'm trying to play catch up, you guys. So I did read Finlay Donovan is Killing It, book 1 this week, and I was like, where have I been? Like, it's so good. It is definitely hyped, but it's hyped for a reason. It is so good. Elle Cosmano, I mean, she's killing it. Like, this is so good. And I know, there's so much, like, drama and, like, controversy going on about this book. Not because I don't think of anything, like, actual, like, controversial, but just the drama of people talking about that. Apparently the second book is pretty good, but the third book that just recently came out was a flop. and I've kind of seen a couple spoilers I'm like kicking myself for now, but she also just signed a deal where I think that there's going to end up being 7 books in this series, so I can kind of see where people are just like, why? Like, sometimes when something is good, you just gotta like leave it alone. And maybe even like the 3rd one should have just been like, you know, that's it type of ordeal. But no, she's gonna draw it out. But who knows? I really liked this. Not only the story, it's like thriller, mystery. It's so cute though. Long story short, if you don't know, if you're under a rock like I've been trying to get my friends to like read it and stuff because it's just so good. It's a single mom who's really going through it and dealing with the fact that her like ex douchebag husband is trying to like take her kids, and he is now living with his like new woman who he originally cheated with on his wife. So you just kind of have like those like negative vibes towards each other, but like she's like an author. She's really trying to write her book for her deadlines coming up. She writes like thriller, mystery, romance type of vibes. And so she goes to a Panera and meets up with her like book agent to talk about the like overall plot of her newest murder mystery with some romance in it. And a nearby woman overhears what she's talking about, slips her a piece of paper of a person she wants to pretty much be gone. So she's potentially starting an endeavor of being a hit woman because it was just very misunderstood at the time in a little local Panera Bread. The writing style is so fun. It's adventurous. I feel like pretty fast paced for the most part and like really entertaining. I loved the characters. The main character, what's her name? Why do I want to say? Finlay. But the babysitter and then like accomplice, Vero, I really, really love too. Just everything about it. It's just kind of like one of those like cliche stories at the same time where just like, there's like, of course that's gonna happen. Of course, you know, but it's so funny. I actually chuckled a few times throughout this book, and I really love where it left off. Like, I'm excited for the next one. I cannot wait. I've been really hyped about series lately, but I don't know, you guys. I'm not knocking the series so far. I gave it a 5 out of 5, so I don't know what this says about me, but I really, really enjoyed this book.
Trying to kill us, baby. Think we're fucking on it. Fuck your fucking sickness. Lost you in the process. I'ma get it for us like I always promised.
So I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I probably did, but March was also March Manga Madness. I'll get it right eventually, you guys. And I actually read Bleach Volume 3. I read this one and I actually started, you know what, I thought I came prepared with all of my stuff, but I didn't. I started Volume 4 as well. Right here. I knew I had all my books right here, ready to go to talk about. I started 4, but I still have not finished it, so I'm hoping I can finish this next week before like March is over. But I was just trying to like read a little bit of it each day, not technically like reading a manga per day, but a little bit. But I love this series so much, and I feel like it's a series where you can definitely binge it, but at the same time you can make it like a slow burn almost type of read, because I don't know, I just feel like the Bleach ones are just like the classic in general, just have so much more to them on the pages than the newer ones. So they take a little bit longer to read, but they're also like, I feel like kind of thicker too. But yeah, I need to wrap up this one, but I've been having a lot of fun reading manga this month, if you couldn't tell. Besides that, I have listened to a couple more chapters of The Stand by Stephen King as well. I'm kind of hitting pause on it just because I've started Mr. Mercedes, and sometimes his work can kind of get a little jumbled for me, so I definitely want to finish both of them this month. But I think I'm going to finish Mr. Mercedes and then maybe jump back to The Stand and finish it out before getting the next in the Bill Hodges series. But audiobooks are really coming through for me right now of trying to get up on my goals, because I have had a lot going on. We've just been doing a lot of things. Spring break is here, and it's just, yeah, it's a busy time. So I also, throughout the week, listened and read. I kind of went back and forth on Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes. I am doing or participating in We Read King book club, and you can find them on Instagram, We Read King. Amazing creators of this. I've really enjoyed their content as well, and just kind of being able to talk with everybody on Discord. But for the end of March and then throughout April, we're reading the Bill Hodges series, and it is crime fiction, but it's Stephen King, you know, so it's going to be kind of dark, kind of gory. But I really enjoyed this. I have to say though, I don't know how much of it I would have enjoyed more so reading, but the narrator was phenomenal, and that's why, like, I think for this whole series, I think it's narrated by the same guy, so I'm like, I am going to listen and read. I kind of bounce back and forth, and it keeps me like in the know with it. I also, once again, writing your notes, or like, you know, writing about the books, especially being somebody like me who multi-reads, this is like key, you guys. It's a game changer for me. I'll never not do this now. But I literally just have like so much written about these books I've been reading lately. This one though was pretty long. I wrote a lot about this. Not as much as the next book I'm going to talk about though, you guys, because that one's insane. I wrote so many notes on it. But Mr. Mercedes, yeah, you pretty much have like this retired detective who is kind of down and about life in general, if you catch the drift of where that's going. But it's almost like the actual Zodiac killer, where this like heinous crime happens, and then Bill is sent a letter from the killer, and so he becomes Mr. Mercedes, and he sends in like letters. They end up talking over like almost like a message board almost type of ordeal, Debbie's Blue Umbrella, and where they kind of communicate back and forth. And although I can say for the most part, like most crime fiction, there was a lot of predictable moments, but for a Stephen King book, I've mentioned it before, usually I love the story, I love the plot, I love the twist, I love the gore, I love the darkness of it, but 9 times out of 10, I hate the characters in Stephen King's books. I don't know why, but usually I just hate them. In this book, I loved them. Obviously not the like villain in this book. He was very gross, grotesque, and like that is kind of like a trigger warning too that you might want to look into, because it was, I mean, hopefully that's not like a trigger for a lot of people, but like if you can't handle certain type of like, I'm just gonna say like incest relationships, like it's you feel kind of gross reading about that. So yeah, you really get to know both aspects, and I've kind of voiced my opinion on it being like, I kind of wish like we wouldn't know about the killer or who the killer is until later on in the book, because it kind of bounces from perspective to perspective. But besides that, I did enjoy it for a crime fiction, and the characters, Bill, and we are introduced to Holly, also Jerome. I really liked them so much. I love Janie too. I'm excited to continue the series for sure. I did give it though a 4 out of 5. The predictability of some of it, and also, I don't know, like I felt like there was still a pretty good portion of this where I feel like it could have been docked down a little bit. And I don't know, there's just some moments where you're just like, really? You're not, I mean, obviously we're getting both perspectives, so obviously we know who it is, but like, he's not picking up those clues. Like there's plenty of breadcrumbs going on. So yeah, I was kind of torn with that. But again, if you're going to tackle this series, it's a pretty, like I say, beefy one. I highly suggest the audiobooks. I really like bouncing back and forth though. I love being able to hold like a physical book. And I just think the audiobook is really nice whenever I'm like glued and I don't want to put it down. It's nice to just continue on with whatever I need to get done and just kind of go back and forth between the two. I really enjoyed that. I do have some books I have to pick up at the library soon, and I have some books due to the library soon. One of them is The Drift by C.J. Tudor. I started it today, and I'm only like 40 pages in. I'm not that far yet, but you guys, there's so many names, there's so many things going on. This book pretty much is following 3 different points of views of like something tragic going on or whatever. Like there's a group of people stuck on a snow, what are those called? Like these are what my notes are for, you guys. I have been taking notes because this book is insane. It is a new book. So there is a train wreck. So there's people that are stuck like on a train. And so we're following that group of people. Then there is a group of people stranded in a cable car that's just kind of like hanging over tons of pine trees and like high up, of course. And then there's another group of people who are already at this place called The Retreat, where I think the other people were supposed to be on their way to. I don't know. There's a lot of people going on. My book journal is definitely coming in handy with trying to keep up with all the names and everything that's going on, so that when I go to like my next chapter and I'm reading about a certain person, it's easy for me to pick back up and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know where I left off with them. But yeah, there's already some people dying. There's talk of a virus. There is, yeah, a lot of what ifs. And somehow I think all 3 of these groups are going to be connected in the end. So I'm really excited. It's my first CJ Tudor read, which is sad because I know that they have some amazing books. But I had seen a lot of people saying that this was really, really good. And I know it's a new book, but it's also part of the Midnight Society book club for the month of March. So that's also why I'm reading it. But I did see on the back praise for CJ Tudor, and it says, if you like my stuff, you'll like this. And it's by Stephen King. So I'm like, I need to try more of CJ Tudor stuff because I'm sure I would like it. And so far it's been really nice. It's also science fiction, so I think we're supposed to have like some sci-fi thrown in the mix too. So I will keep you guys posted. I'm kind of just reading all over the place.
Pull me back in with your fucking lies. Kill me slowly, baby, you know I don't fucking mind. You said a million years, guess the stars align. You've been lying, baby, see it in your fucking eyes.
Last but definitely not least, you guys, I read The Drift by CJ Tudor, and oh my god, I need to read more CJ Tudor. If anything, it has showed me that. This was a freaking whirlwind of a book. You have 3 different perspectives. You have Hannah, who like awakens in it's kind of like a train, like a coach, and it's crashed, and she's with a bunch of people. There's dead people, and it's in the middle of like a snowdrift. Then you have Meg, who awakes gently rocking in a cable car, and with strangers, and it's not moving. They're like stranded. And then you have Carter, who is at an isolated like ski resort place. The power and stuff is kind of like failing. He has to figure out like how to get everything like working, and you know, they're kind of like stranded out there. There's a big snowstorm coming, so it bounces back and forth from these 3 perspectives that tie in together. And the way this was written was mind-blowing to me. I really, really enjoyed it. And although some of it was a little bit more predictable for me, I still really enjoyed some of the twists that we did get. And like I said, you guys, before, this book was the one I literally wrote. I wrote so much because I was confused. There's so many names with this one. It starts way down here at the bottom, but it goes down this page, down this page, down this page, and all the way down this page. Like, I wrote so much about this book, jumping back and forth from different perspectives, kind of putting my guesses in on what was going on. And yeah, I really liked it. I didn't really vibe with like I mean, I feel like there was like maybe 1 or 2 characters I really vibed with, but usually I'm okay with not vibing with characters because this is a survival horror. So it's kind of like one of those video games, like I've mentioned, where it's Until Dawn or The Quarry, where it's kind of just like, let's see who survives in the end, you know? It's wild. I really liked it, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed reading it, and it was just a nice change for me too, where I was currently at reading. This is, like I said, horror, but it also has like a sci-fi twist to it as well, which I also really liked. Because of it, I've already put another CJ Tudor book on hold at my library because I'm like, I want to read some more CJ Tudor. Like, I was really blown away. I really enjoyed the writing style of that, and that was just like one of my types of horror that I really enjoy to read. But that is the recap on my week. The weekend went by and it was pretty casual. We went over to my grandparents' house and I made some chicken noodle soup, some homemade chicken noodle soup. It sounded good to my mama. So I made some of that and we ate that over there and hung out with them and just kind of had a pretty casual weekend. And then I started brainstorming like hair ideas, and the following week dyed my hair. So stay tuned for that vlog, you guys, because this, like I said, is future Allie. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today on this wild ride of a vlog. A bunch of books though. I actually got through quite a few this week. I had already started Ninth House before this week started. But if we're including that one, I read 5 books and like 1.5 mangas, so not too bad for this week. Like, that's quite a bit for me. I feel like I can never like focus enough on that, but I don't know, the multi-reading and stuff and having a little bit more time on the weekend really helped get me through this many books. But that's probably why I crashed the next week all with my reading. But again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys in my next one. Let me know down below what you're currently reading.
Keep money by a corpse, keep fuck for your money, get robbed for your life. Had a play from the jump, succumb to the night. Got meds in my blood, got death in my mind, ain't got shit left. Best step to me right, no face, no name like